it's the same thing with Alan. After a while, it's like, okay, I was running out anyway. We did a nice thing, and that was good. And the RB thing just made me say, you ain't no different than anyone else. And for those of you who are going to get upset with me about this, you get upset with me. I don't care. I don't care. All right? I've been through this too much now, and I understand where it's going down. And for you newbies or whatever it is, you're getting sense with me and stuff like that, understand something. If you have a brain, you're going to find out for yourself sooner or later. Now, the thing about Alan is, I got to admit, at the end of the day, what do you have? Life sucks, and then you die. That's what you got. Now, you're going to look at me and say, well, you say there's no way out. No, there is a way out, but you don't want to hear it. Okay? You're not going to beat this thing down with fists and guns and all this other stuff and these, nightly dreams you have of the Alamo. It ain't going to work. There is no way out. It's done. What I'm telling you is, and not that I don't want to do the shows or anything like that and go into some information, and I've really sprung up to do other shows about histories, mysteries, and I can't do this stuff all the time, man. I can't stay in here. It's just, it gets heavy. So I'd like to mix it up a little bit more so than I did in years gone by. But I want to know, from all you people who get pissed off at me, you tell me what your plan is to take the damn country back. Tell me what your plan is. I want to know right now what your plan is. Where's this old mass assembly? Where are you going to go? What are you going to do? It's a lot of talk, a lot of hot air, and you can protest anywhere you want to, but really you should be protesting at the CFR headquarters in Midtown Manhattan and at 30 Rock, because those are the guys who run the show. You go down to D.C., it's a waste of time. They're whores. They run interference so that the people who really handle things don't ever have the light shown on them. Those who run this country don't run for office. So you can go down to D.C. and beat your crazy heads against the sky. It ain't going to work. So why don't you come in and give me your business plan as to how you're going to take the country back and get the Constitution restored. It's all a fairy tale, and you have to learn to live with it. Maybe you don't want to, but I'm going to tell you straight out. There is a way out, and that's Jesus Christ. You don't want to hear about it. It's very unsatisfactory to you. That's fine, but this is a battle between good and evil, the ultimate battle between good and evil. And it is about Satan, and it is about Jehovah, all right? That's just the way it is. So, Alan, honestly, we had a good run, and that's over with. Now, whoever called in for this, I'm pretty sure knew how I felt about it. It was more or less pride in Alan. Alan handled himself well. Now, about the FBI thing, let me get it really straight. I've said this throughout the shows I've ever done. My first job out of college was with the FBI. I got out of college in July 75, trying to get work, look for a job. Nothing was going. I was a little panicking. And I happened to play for a semi-pro team who was run by a special agent out of the New York City field office. And there was another agent who played with us, and there was another player who was an investigative assistant who was trying to get into Quantico and was kind of a good friend of mine. So they all loved me. I was the great white hope. And they said, well, why don't you give the Bureau a shot? So I did. I went down, and my incept date was June 14th, 1976, Flag Day, okay? And I didn't last 6 months. I was down in some hovel, processing gas and oil bills run up by the field agents in an office that had no windows, that was below a lab. And I guess whatever they were discarding by way of, effluvium was running through, our office. I mean, you could retch. So I didn't even make Christmas. That is my involvement with the FBI. So, and I think I probably told Alan that, jokingly. I mean, in other words, yeah, it was serious. I did it, but, I laughed. I said, of all things, look at me. But look, they didn't like me, and I didn't like them. And I wasn't going to stick around in this 3-year program to push paper for the hopes of finally going down to Quantico. It was a scam for the most part. Also, I'll just say this. Rumors around Washington usually prove true. And one of the things we heard, and it did prove true, was that the FBI was going to put an emphasis on accountants, and you didn't have to be a lawyer, but you needed to at least have a law degree. And if you had that, they would fast-track you into the Bureau because they were going to go after white-collar crime. And I will tell you that 3 people that I knew, one that I played with, one that I roomed with, and another that I met down there, and is a friend of mine to this day, though he's retired, all went for their accounting degrees, and they all got in. Accounting is about as interesting to me as, watching paint dry. And so I knew this wasn't for me. So that's my FBI involvement. Yes, is Vyzygoth a real person? No, it's a fiction. All right, enough of this. But like I said, it isn't going to happen anymore. Now, it's interesting also that Alan spoke to this thing with Red Ice. Because I got some emails from Red Ice. And here's what Frederick and Heinrich sent me. We just wanted to drop you an email and hear Watts, W-A-T-T-S in parentheses, up with Alan. We recently heard that Alan has been making idiotic remarks about you on his RBN show. Well, actually, he did make idiotic remarks, did he? Don't know if you've heard it, but he has also been making unfounded and delusional claims about Red Ice as well. He didn't utter one word to back up his ridicules. They're doing the best they can with English. His ridiculous claims, of course. We have no interest or plans to make a big deal of Mr. Watt's latest accusations / insinuations towards me and Henrik. We just find it interesting to hear that he's now extending his delusions to you and other people as well. Well, he didn't extend his delusions to me. Basically, we'd just like to find out if he truly believes his delusions or if he possibly has another agenda. If you feel like talking about this or sharing anything about his accusations / insinuations against you, it would be interesting to get your side of the story. We're not interested in publishing or broadcasting any of your comments. This is just for personal curiosity. We have no interest in taking part in the infighting game, and we've never been interested in responding, refuting, or fighting Alan on the 2 occasions that he lied about Red Ice. No need to add fuel to a dying fire. It seems to be just a handful or so clone sentinels who don't think for themselves that are now accusing us and repeating Alan's words. If you would be interested, we would make a silent statement stand against Alan's childish behavior simply by inviting you to Red Ice Creations and talk about some real issues like 9/11, geopolitics, the world conspiracy, your radio show, and everything else that is going on right now. We don't need and we don't want to directly comment on Alan's latest mumble during the show. It says, anyways, if you're not interested in coming on your program, we just wanted to say that we're behind you on this, and we don't approve of his behavior. I didn't ask you for your freaking help, man. And he didn't do anything. His statements on that show were right. With regard to the FBI thing, yeah, I work for the FBI. That's it. CIA, please. Okay, also, we had such a good time in your program last time. We'd love to reverse the microphone onto you this time. Let us know what you think. I told them to jam it up their butts. Okay, he says, well, I don't think you really read the email. So here's what I wrote to him. I said, I'm not illiterate, okay? I read the email. I'm not going to get into syntactical breakdown, okay? You got in touch with me in back of this Alan Watt crap. That's why you did it. Yeah, right, boys? Yeah, that's right. You had all those months to have me on as a return gratuity, but no, it had to be instigated because of the Watt thing. Let it go and leave me alone. They would never have gotten in touch with me. They told me they'd have me on when I had them on, like, over a year ago, okay? Oh, and people said, oh, we'll have you on. Yeah, okay, sure. And they never did. Now, there's another thing also. They took a pot shot at me with regard to when Freeman was having apparently a nervous breakdown in the back of the Bill Deagle crap that he was talking about. Oh, God. And it's like, come on, man. Have a clue. Freeman was having a meltdown because of Bill Deagle, who's full of crap, as we have established and documented, and who would not come on to answer the charges against him because Bill Deagle is a liar. All right, Freeman, I don't even care. He's a mess. Go away. All right? And they took a shot at me, and I heard it. Okay, fine. Now, the only reason they got in touch with me, even though they said, well, you can come on and talk about it, but you don't have to come on and talk about it. But if you want to, you can. If you don't, bull. You came to me because of Alan Watt. That's why you did it. And I don't want any part of you. You could have had me on at any other time without this stuff. You decided not to. Don't bother me. There's another thing also. And what Watt told me with regard to Tsarian is that he doesn't like Tsarian, and I'm sure it's returned. And then he felt that Tsarian ripped him off. That's what he told me. So here's another thing, is because they're pro-Tsarian on Red Ice Creations, and obviously Alan Watt is somewhat their adversary. So that's the reason why. And you know what? Red Ice, you can keep them, okay? You want to talk about existentialism, fine. Ain't nothing but the breeze, man. But they're phonies, okay? They're phonies to the way they dealt with this, and me. I don't appreciate it. It's over with. So that's the story. We're not talking about Alan Watt anymore. We're not talking about Red Ice Creations anymore. That's the way it is. Before we leave this, though, I have to give you another anecdote or two about the Patriot networks. I know there's others out there, and fine. But I had a laugh with RBN, which was started by John Stadtmiller, who got fired by GCN. He says he didn't get fired. He got fired. And I don't know if any of you remember this, but do you remember when Wes Perkins pulled down the website? Fistatman was rather